Hey y'all, welcome back to the studio. Want to come play in the clouds with me? We have our clouds sgraffito stencil, and I want to show you 3 ways to use this. So the first way, this clay has been sitting around the studio. I just rolled it out flat, used my red rib to get it nice and smooth. I'm going to go ahead and position the cloud that I want on my clay. Now you could use this on a slab before you do your hand building. You could wrap the stencils around your already leather hard bisqued ware. And then you could use this to stamp underglaze. You could use this as a guide for your regular glaze. You could use this a bunch of different ways. And as we call them sgraffito stencils, what you could do is dab your underglaze on and then use this as your guide so you can go ahead and sgraffito either around or in the pattern. So the first way I'm going to show you how to use this stencil is just using your pony roller and just rolling it in, making sure you're getting all the edges. And what this is going to do, go ahead and peel this off, is give you a really nice raised texture here. See how nice that is? There's a little bump there. You can catch all of your glaze in and around this. If you want the reverse function where you want your cloud to be inset and not raised on your clay, here's another option I'm going to do, which is water etching, but I call it water etching in reverse. I think most people want to preserve their design element, so they'll put they'll have underglaze here, they'll shellac that, and then they'll erode away around this. I like to use the pony roller again. What it does is it creates a really nice seal all around your stencil. And then we are going to take a wet sponge and we are going to just start sponging away at this cloud. Your sponge will accumulate a lot of clay in this process because you are just lifting up and eroding away at the clay. You've got the stencil protecting your outer parameter here. So I am going to do this until I feel like it is deep enough. It really depends on what design you're going for, and it also depends on how thick your clay is. For a quarter inch thickness on clay, which is pretty standard for hand building and also pretty standard for wheel throwing as well, just as an average, you can go over quite a bit. It would take you a lot to go through your clay. Now, if you are using way thinner clay than this, then you would want to be more careful. And because you are introducing moisture to your clay, just be careful because it can warp easier, or you can actually go through it a little bit easier. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to make sure I'm laying my grog back down. I can feel the edges of the stencil. I can feel that we have taken quite a bit of clay away. Okay, so that's nice and smooth. If you want, you can come through with your red rib as well to really give it some additional smoothing. Okay, and then let's lift this up and we'll see what the water etching has produced for us. So we're going to lift this up. Now remember, we are going for the opposite effect. This protrudes. We have this now is an indent. You can see it goes in, and then your glaze will pool into these lower areas there. So you could even do both of these effects on the same piece of work, and that would give it a ton of variation. Same shape, different form. Now I'm going to give you the most dramatic effect that we can do here with this, which I recently discovered, which is a combination of the water etching. Well, it's actually a combination of the pony roller and the water etching. And then we are going to go ahead and carve out our detail. I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to grab this little cloud over here as well on the corner. And I'm going to show you what it looks like if I just take my sharp carving tool. It's just a Diamond Core V tool. And I follow the edges of the stencil It creates a really sweet effect there. And then I'm going to show you how when we water etch and combine that, what that looks like. So again, I've got my my stencil really adhered to the clay because I used my pony roller for that. And I'm going to just start taking a really damp sponge and I'm rinsing off every few passes. I'm taking my sponge and putting it back into my bucket of water. And I'm going to go here and we are going to begin to make this a really deep impression. I could even take a carving tool and scoop out all of this just to make it really deep. At leather hard you could, and that's why I call it a sgraffito stencil, because you could just take, and with underglaze or without, you could take a carving tool and use your guide to really carve out this sweet little cloud pattern here. I feel like that's enough. It's probably a little less recessed than the last water etching one, but you can honestly just keep going until you are comfortable with your depth here. Okay, that feels good. And now I'm going to combine the process, and I'm going to take, you can either, if it were absolutely leather hard, you could just take the end of your carving tool and trace the outline, and this will give you more control. That picks up quite a bit of clay for me, so I prefer to just carve out. This is something where you would put this on a wear board and have a lot of like a 360-degree access to your carving. But since I'm filming, I'm going to keep it right here in the same spot. I'm just going to try to move my hands around. And the stencil is nice and thick. It will last a long time. It is wipeable. The only thing is, if you use a knife or catch the ends, you could cut into the stencil a little bit, but it doesn't affect the function of it. Okay, so now we have our combination where we have water etched and then come through with a carving element and carved out the outline here. And like I said, this is going to be our most dramatic effect. So I'm going to lift this up and you can see that this now is water etched, so it's lower than the surrounding clay, and then we've got that nice little outline. And then here's the one where I just outlined the pony roller, so you can see it's not as deep as this one, but still a nice effect. And all this you can do while you're preparing your slab, or you can do right on your vessel. The only thing you couldn't do is after bisque. If you're using our sgraffito stencils after bisque, you would attach it to your pot and then you would use it for your underglaze or just your sgraffito outline. So I would have this against my pot, and then I would just do the outline. We also do sell the cutout pieces, so if you are wanting to sgraffito around your cloud, you could easily do that. So these are available on the website under stencils. This is our clouds sgraffito stencil. Thanks for hanging out here with us today, guys.